Yes, guys, I hope you're doing well and I hope you started the day in a positive way. So this is the first of what I'm going to call the transformation type series. And the reason that I've created this series is very simple. If you're beginning on your own journey, you've just started out and you're thinking to yourself, do you know what? I want to do something positive. I want to get fitter. I want to get healthier. I want to get stronger. And more importantly, I want to get into the shape of my life, physically and mentally. Where do you begin that journey? This is what this whole series is going to be about, so that you can identify the body type that you're at currently. Number two, understand and get insight into what's involved to help you progress along your journey. What are you going to expect? What are the changes that are going to come along? And number three, which I think is more important, is getting yourself to that new level and staying at that level. Because that's the thing that seems to evade a lot of people. People, a lot of the time, will try to get into great shape and then they yo-yo back out of shape. So what we're going to go over today is a conundrum that I find myself faced with a lot of guys who are signing up to me. And that is the skinny fat conundrum. Now, if you're a guy watching this, you're either in this situation yourself or you have friends that are in this situation. It's a very, very common body type. And what skinny fat basically is, it's when you're in a situation where you're not necessarily holding a lot of body fat, but you're holding a lot of body fat around your midsection, around the midriff, the stomach, the lower back. And unfortunately, you're in a position where you don't have a lot of muscle. You're not carrying a lot of muscle. So you kind of look skinny, but fat at the same time. And this is a real bugbear for a lot of guys, because they'll come to me and they'll say, Afsar, do you know what it is, mate? Is I've tried dieting, and when I diet and try to lose fat, I just look smaller and I just feel weak and I'm not happy with how I look. Everyone says, oh my God, you're looking so skinny. And when I try to bulk, it just tends to come onto my stomach. So I'm just looking fatter. What do I do? What's the way forward? So what I want to say, first of all, is that in my experience dealing with a lot of these transformations, you're looking at around 20 to 30 weeks of hard, smart work to completely not only progress out of that physique type, but to set yourself a complete new level of physique. So when we begin these journeys, the first thing that I will tell guys is we're going to focus on phases. When you're starting here and then you've got to get up there, we don't just do it straight. We're going to do it in phases, working each phase at a time, gradually building you up to that level. The first phase is very simple. We start an aggressive cut. The reason we do this is because in a lot of cases of guys who are skinny fat, they're not actually that fat. They're just holding the fat in the wrong area, which is really making them look fatter than they are. So we get on an aggressive cut, and the goal is very simple. Let's get that midsection down. Let's get that lower back fat down. Let's remove the waist. So, depending on the person and their body, how their body responds and everything, typically is quite an aggressive approach with cardio, training 4 to 5 days a week and monitoring your nutrition. For a lot of the guys that I work with, I tend to put them on carb cycling diets. The reason I do this is not because it's more effective at burning body fat, no, because it really tends to help keep the muscle a lot fuller. So, like I say, go back to what I said earlier. What's the number one problem guys have when they're dieting down in the skinny fat? They look skinnier. They look smaller. If we do it in a smart way where we can keep your muscles as full as possible, then as your waist is coming down, you're not going to look that much smaller. You're not going to look that much skinnier because you're retaining that fullness in the muscles and you're losing the waist. So the first 8 to 10 weeks, our goal, our focus, our vision is get that body fat down. Let's bring it right down. Work hard on the cardio, stick to your diet, work hard in the gym. The first few weeks, they're kind of like you just build up the pace. And typically, they'll still come back and say to me, I'm just looking smaller, I'm just looking skinnier. I say to them all the time that, look, just keep focused. Keep moving forward. Every week that waist is getting smaller. It's only a matter of time before your body starts to show lines. What am I talking about when I talk about lines? Lines are what make a physique look muscular. So when you're dieting and you have lines appear on your shoulders, lines appearing around your pecs, lines appearing on your arms, those tie-ins will create a visual bigger look. So now you've gone from being skinny fat to where your waist has come in and you're looking muscular because now you've got this definition showing. We continue in that phase until we're at a point where you're completely leaned out. Now that doesn't mean being ripped and shredded. What that means is your waist is right down. You don't have any more love handles. You're looking muscular. You can see the separation between the muscles. And it's from that point we start to build the muscle up. So the first 8 to 10 weeks, we're working hard on fat loss. From that point on, we are very smart. We don't overload you. We start to pump the body up. We start to build the body up. But while keeping the waist in. This is the key. Usually in this situation, what I've seen too common is people take advantage, they try to put a lot of size on, they end up blowing up their waist again. Absolutely not. What we're going to do is we're going to be smart, we're going to be precise, and we're going to take our times to slowly build that body up. Now here's the beauty. Because you've been in a situation prior to this where you've removed your body fat, you've been working hard on your diet, you've been doing that regular cardio, your body is sensitive to grow. It's ready to grow. It's begging to grow. So the minute we start to add food, pull back cardio, focus more on, hard, intense training with a real push on poundages, what happens? The muscles get fuller, they get rounder, they're fed, the fat is starved. So now what you got is we haven't just got you lean. Now we're building you up, but keeping you lean. We do this for a good 10 to 15 weeks and you will be dumbfounded, because what typically happens is somebody joins me in the beginning and let's say, for example, they're weighing 200 pounds skinny fat. They end up dieting to, let's say, 175. And by the time they finish this lean bulk phase, they're back to the weight they began at with a completely different shape. The same weight, but this time the waist is gone. This time the muscles are fuller. This time the muscles are rounder, thicker. The whole shape has changed. And that's when we begin phase 3. Phase 3 is basically, I want to stay this way. I want to stay in this shape. I want to stay at this level. And I only want to progress from this. I don't want to go backwards. So once you've leaned out, you've built the muscle, we do what's called kind of like a settling phase, where we hold that size, we hold that condition, and we make it something that is kind of like your new normal physique, if that makes sense. And from that point onwards, you've got the opportunity then to either do another cut and get into the condition of your life, or you can continue building up. But the most beautiful part is we've moved away from that skinny fat body type. So again, it comes down to 3 phases. You've got to go for the first phase, which is the hardest. Lose the body fat. Yes, you'll feel skinnier. Yes, you'll feel smaller. It's for a temporary amount of time. Within 8 to 10 weeks, you'll be shocked at how much leaner you look, and actually out of your clothes, how much bigger you start to look. Once you're at that stage, don't stay there. Be smart and start to build your body up patiently, correctly, focusing on muscle gain, minimizing fat gain, keeping that waist in, building the rest of the body up. Then once you're at a point where you're kind of back to where you began from, but this time you're a whole different composition, you're lean, you're mean, you're strong, you're in great shape, you hold that, you make that is almost a set point. And at that stage, you would have completely transformed your skinny fat physique.